Good morning, folks. Um, October 7th here, um, among the folks of Knoxville trying to wake up. When I lived in Phoenix was the last place I called home. Um, and needless to say, it's been way too long since I called someplace home. But the last place I called home was Phoenix. During the time in Phoenix, during the number of years I lived in Phoenix, and the apartment I maintained downtown for about 10 years or so, my brother Michael was undergoing treatment, various treatments for melanoma. Um, I don't know how many stages of melanoma there are, but he was in the final stages, and he had gone years through countless treatments um, for melanoma, and and I constantly, as did my entire family, worried about him. You know, um, there was always Mike, in the back of my mind. I'm happy to say today. I mean, well, let me give you an example about Mike and his cancer treatment. My sister Joanne, who lives in Phoenix, um, she kind of took the ball as far as the family's concerned and overseeing Mike's care and Mike with his melanoma cancer treatment. Um, and she had a talk with me one day when I was living in Phoenix, and she said, Mike is driving me nuts. I said, how so? He said, he'll call me every day. I mean, without fail, he'll call me. And he never cries. He never breaks down. He never, rages. He never, why me? Why, it's like, he's constantly, everything is clinical. Everything with Mike is, this treatment affects these antibodies, and this, the tumor here will be attacked by, and this treatment, and I need the shots for this. Everything was clinical with Mike. And I said, that's how he's coping, you know? Look at what he's looking at, which is really death and just a matter of time until death. This is how he copes, Joanne. This is how he's coping with, like, the horror of horror. There is, at the time, no cancer more fatal than melanoma. I mean, it is everything because, skin is everything. Um, Anyways, I'm happy to report that he is a cancer survivor. For those of you who have followed my channel, know that he is a cancer survivor and that he has, he got treatment from a Nobel Prize winning research, physician or whatever. He is cured melanoma. Um, so, but during the end of my stay in Phoenix, my older brother Howard got throat cancer in Hawaii, and once again, it was my sister Joanne in Phoenix who kind of took the helm because, like my baby brother Mike, my older brother was single, and so. And as I mentioned before, my mother knew this was eventual, so that's why she had three daughters for the three brothers. So, they're kicking into action here. And Joanne's taken now Howard's, um, you know, cancer, throat cancer. And when I was living in Phoenix, I always, I once Howard got cancer, once he finally admitted to the family that he had cancer, and ironically, it was through Joanne. Um, you know, every time I called him, every time I tried to talk to him, we could never finish a conversation. He always would the throat, um, and it never really dawned on me how serious his cancer might be, because I once knew a guy in Pasadena, California, um, who had throat cancer, and he smoked like packs and packs a day, and he got throat cancer. They went in, they cut it out, um, and he part of the cancer was on his voice box, so he never spoke again in his voice. Um, but he survived it, and I just assumed my oldest brother Howard was the same sort of situation. So whenever I would call and I'd get frustrated, and he would get frustrated because we couldn't complete a conversation. You know, and never got to take care of goodbye. Glad to hear it. Because he always had to hang up the phone because he couldn't speak. I think it was 2017. I returned to Phoenix. Um, Primarily because my niece was going to get married. That is Joanne's daughter was going to get married, and I was around the Southwest at the time. So I said, "Oh, hey, I will go and stop in, and you know, uh, you know, revisit Phoenix. It's been a while since I've been back there." Um, and we'll catch up, and well, no, actually, it was she was busy with wedding, so but we'll touch base. So I I I, I went into Phoenix, and the first thing I did when I got there is I gave her a call. I said, "Let's meet. Let's hook up." She said, "All right. Why not the Starbucks in Scottsdale?" I said, "Great." I said, "Great." So I was dying to see her because I haven't seen Joanne, my compatriot sister, my middle sister, for 3 or 4 years now. And she saw me through all that crap I went through in Phoenix with the gentrification and the housing problem. She really, you know, despite what the city was intent on doing to me, she was behind her brother, and I really, appreciated that. But I wanted to see her just to see her and touch base. So we met at this Starbucks in Scottsdale, and I was happy to see her. I wanted to really you know, emote instead of get clinical, if you will. But as I tried to talk to her at that Starbucks, she seemed preoccupied, and it's like I kept trying to like like you know talk, brother to sister, and her mind was elsewhere, and I think I finally said, it's like, can you take your mind off of Brittany, for just like half an hour? She's there. It's not B at all. It's Howard. I said, how bad? She's there. It's not good. So the next time I talked to Joanne after the wedding, the civil wedding that my niece and Chris, her husband, had at a courthouse in Phoenix before they went to Italy, I think it was, for the formal marriage. Um, the next time I talked to Joanne, I called her and I got her and no, what was it? No, I called Howard is what I did. I think I called Howard um, a few months after uh, uh, leaving Phoenix. I called Howard's place in Hawaii and I got Joanne. And you know, Howard had died. Howard died like 2 or 3 days later, and she phoned me from wherever I was in the country at the time to tell me, and she was out there basically to look after her brother. Uh, from a Starbucks in the Hilton Hotel across the street from the Knoxville Library. It is Greg on this October day, seventh day, remembering the power of family.